joking that, of course, they say that success has a process. Now, in cases like that, although it takes a man who is as wise and spiritual as you are to discern that this is not what you're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to do. But in cases where those set of people don't have a man like you to tell them, no, stop it, this is not it, this is it. How can those people handle that circumstance or situation whereby they are chasing a passion? Yes, it's a passion, but it's a wrong passion. It's a wrong course. So how do they get back to track, get back to what God has for them? Probably he has spoken to them through the mother or the father or the friend, but they feel that, no, this is what I want to do. So at that point, how can they navigate?
You have to, you see, I will speak from the standpoint of my existence. You can't push people who are not willing to come out of certain decisions they take. And I will not be everywhere teaching everybody. So the privilege of contact is by divine destination. So if God brings a man to my life and I notice he needs help, I'm going to offer that help to see him change. And say, okay, this thing is the way we are going to do it. But it depends on his community too. Some young folks are the teachers of their teacher. So when you are the one providing ideas to those who are teaching you, then I don't think you need to have any direction from anybody. David said, I have read so much that he wasn't saying he's teaching his teachers. He's teaching us how he has gained access to understanding by taking instructions from scriptures, but brought out those words and say, I have more than my teachers. No, it is I now know better on what to do with myself. Even as he knows better, he was saying, help me, O Lord, help me, O Lord. So if a young fellow is going the wrong way and he's told not to go that path, he needs to sit down and ask himself certain questions about life. You know, opportunities differ. Some young men are privileged to have certain things that others don't have, and know certain people because of the class of their parents that others don't have. So they may not really see advice. Will you talk to the son of the first man of this country on how to behave? He may not even have interest for advice because he feels he doesn't need your advice for anything. But so it depends on the maturity of the fellow. I want to be responsible. So this person's words are reasonable. So he listens because of that guide of being responsible. You know, in Proverbs chapter 31, that story from verse 1 to 10 was a king trying to tell the story of the counsel of his mother to his people. Why will he say that? Because he got mature in his behavior and he understood that he needed counsel. So when you start desiring and look at Jesus Christ. He was 12, but his friends were elderly. Jesus Christ had no age mate as friend. All his friends were fathers. Why did he keep such people in his life? Because he understood that age comes with lessons. And any young man that will succeed in life must have an elderly friend. Whether a pastor, as long as the person is elderly, must have an elderly friend that he or she goes to sit down with and let that person look at him and tell, I'm checking the decisions you make. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is right. And if you're not doing that, please hear me clearly. Everything created don't last. Money does not last. Houses don't last. Vehicles don't last. Love don't last. What will last is the lessons you learned. And that is what sustains everything around your life. So, as a young fellow, please watch it. Go for lessons and guide yourself with the lessons that life produces. It's more important than the... I told us there's a fellow I studied the other day. I don't want to go personal. And I said, if this young man had a strong counselor in his life, he would have been a major role model in all the frames of human life in this country. Because he communicates to people freely. He attracts every class of men around his life. That's a gift. It's not born from wealth. It's in nature somebody has. But indiscipline was not treated. So the moment indiscipline is not treated, you have a problem as a young fellow. An older lion is only old because of age, but the characters of a lion is still there in a lion. So that's what I feel we should start treating elderly people in our lives as counselors, not as friends. It will help.
We have a question from Felix Daniel. Said, making reference to the case of Jacob and Esau, something has always been bugging me. Why wasn't Rebecca commended for being manipulative, partial, by making Esau lose the rightful blessings? Thank you, sir.
When you treat issues of lives, treat it from the foundation of those lives. What was the foundation of Esau and Jacob's life? The foundation rightly said that the author of life said, the younger shall precede the elderly. That was a prophecy. Now, how the prophecy will come to pass was not defined. Who God will use, we didn't know. Because if the prophecy was supposed to come through Isaac, and remember, God did not speak to Isaac, he spoke to Rebekah. So if the prophecy was supposed to come through Isaac, he would have spoken to Isaac. So he spoke to Rebekah. And Rebekah does not have that power to transmit inheritance. It's in the hands of Isaac. So why was Rebekah around the house that day when Isaac made that statement? Because she would be somewhere else. And Isaac made the statement, and Esau went to the market or to the bush, got the things, came, quietly blessed Esau, and the thing is over. But why was she there at that time? Because that prophecy had to come to pass. We have no one to blame. If we are to blame somebody, which I will not use my mouth to say, is the prophecy from the beginning. That's where the thing came from. And the guy that said that thing, we can't blame him. I can't be asking God why, because I'm too human to ask that kind of question. But the man who said it is God himself. And that's why we keep saying in church, if God speaks to your life, you have a part to play. God gave you prophecy. You are not walking, you are sleeping, it will come to pass. Let's see the positive side of the effort of Rebekah to make that thing work. But remember, we don't question God for it. He said it, and it has happened. He said it, and he positioned Rebekah to hear. Rebekah heard. He told Rebekah, she conceived it. She didn't tell anybody. She knew when to move Jacob. All the drama that Jacob had with Esau were irrelevant. The major thing was Rebekah able to manage that prophecy and able to hear when she was supposed to hear, accepting to take the blame if the thing fails. And we still did not hear her speak to Isaac after he has blessed Jacob. That this thing, God said it. And Jacob now came up in the future and did the same to Joseph's children. So that was a pattern being traded in the historic ground of Isaac's destiny. So no accusing finger on anybody. It was a prophecy that was fulfilling itself.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, this is another question. This is from Jennifer from Asaba. She says, please, I want to ask, in a case where the husband is harshly abusive to the wife and kids, what is the woman advised to do? Should she give up on the marriage for the sake of the kids, or keep holding on to the marriage as a believer?
You see, the reaction of certain things is what we talk about. We don't talk about the foundations of a lot of things. How did this couple get married? And that's the thing I will always tell people. How did you get married? Because how you got married, who are the people in your life at the time you got married? Who did you take this young man to? Who made the approval of this marriage? Who asked him the questions about his life? Now, when we didn't have all of these things done, and you took a decision yourself, love yourself, marry yourself, anything you meet there is, it's not God, it's your decision. And I will not tell you anything negative to carry out. Wisely handle your marriage. Whatever makes the man beat you, stop doing it so he won't beat you. Because there are triggers that leads to that. Somebody will not just get up and begin to slap you. So wisely handle it. But for the young ones who are not in marriage, please remember carefully. A woman can also be very abusive with her mouth. So let there be certain approvals and fear around both of them. Who makes the correction? Who can call now and both of you arrive in 2 seconds? That person in your life is more important than your marriage, which you don't have today. We don't have. A lot of marriages don't have it. They don't have it. The young man is lording his wife. The young man is lording the husband. They don't have it. So let's build the right foundations. And if it doesn't work, then we are the problem then. Because you should know how to talk to a man who has temper. And you should know how to talk to a lady who has a very rowdy mouth. I call it a rowdy mouth. It just talks anyhow. And a lady who does not have the consciousness of honor. And to me, it irritates me when I see that for a lady. A lady should have courtesy. Courtesy as a prime character in a woman's life. Courtesy. Excuse me, please. You must learn it as a lady. It's something you must learn as a woman. A man should have control. Very basic control. But not oppressive. People are trying to marry control for oppressive. No. Heavy control, but not oppressive. No. So when we start solving issues from this class of life, when I say the marriages that have issues, I keep saying the problem is you didn't know how you started, so you won't know how to end. Loving does not give any access to peace. I love you, you love me. Does that give us peace? Oh yeah, get up, match my leg. Match my leg now. Match it hard. Match now. Did you see my leg? Did you see before you matched me? You saw it now. What do you think I will do to you? I'll go hit you now. You saw me, you want to match me voluntarily to see what I will do. So we can avoid matching ourselves by knowing our strength and our weaknesses and trade on those two values. This guy is a temperamental human being. So I know what to tell him and what not to tell him. This lady is abusive with the tongue. So I don't argue with her. If not, she will rain down this house. So you have peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Praise God. We have another question. This is again on the animosity. She said, "Good morning, sir. Your program is really a blessing to me. My name is Queen. Sir, please, I always see stars every month. And this has been happening to me for many years now. But the problem here is that I am afraid because I don't know if this is godly or the form of the devil. I saw the stars again this month, and this time it was really much. Please help me, sir. What should I do?"
The person should go close to God, serve God. And don't go negative. Just believe that that's a brighter direction for you. Definitions are product of effective fellowship with God. So when you fellowship more, from Bible perspective, we were told that stars were seen by necromancers. Those wise men were men that were serving certain gods. They were not prophets. They were not Christians. They were able to see someone's star because they were using certain powers to do so. So, and the Bible only describes us as the light of the world on the advent of what will produce to the earth. So if you use Matthew chapter 5 from verse 14 to 15, we can interpret that dream from that angle. That means God wants to give the fellow a responsibility that will change the world. Joseph had that kind of dream. His tree was taller than the others, while others bowed down. That was leadership. So that guy is about being used for leadership, for stardom. So let him begin to look inwardly about his life, what God has for him, and start the trading early in his life. Because that's not a coincidence. It's something that God wants to use to fulfill a place in his life.
So that means we can take advantage of scriptures.
Yes, to define anything, because that's our prime base. I won't go beyond the Bible, and I won't answer certain questions that debate God. I'm not in that. I don't do that.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, this is another question. This reads, "Good day. I'm asking this question on behalf of my coursemate. She got married in 2016. Her father wasn't in support of the marriage at that time, but according to her, she prayed about it and God revealed a bunch of keys to her. She also sought spiritual guidance. Now she's about leaving the marriage because she recently found out that the man is addicted to drugs. Things are not going right in the marriage. She hasn't been able to conceive. A prophecy also came that the man is being fought spiritually. Please, sir, how do I advise this my friend to stay? And since I'm not in support of divorce."
No, I want to get through that. The first thing said she was advised, and she refused. Who advised her?
Said her father.
And then she heard from God.
She prayed and also sought spiritual guidance.
You see. Teaching is very important. And those who are not taught, they have limitations, they will have limits with life. And that's why when I see a man or a lady in an environment of knowledge and he's still struggling, I'm asking myself a question: why? A man in an environment of knowledge, I'm asking the question: why is this girl or man struggling? Now, the lady heard from God. Let me believe that. But did not use her common sense to study character issues that she would have handled by not even praying to God. She would have identified common traces around the young man's life that shows that she was blinded to it. Maybe there are certain interests that the boy carries that she wants to benefit from. So she preferred to pray her own private prayer and take her to whoever she knows will confirm her prayer point. But the pain of the future is not the father that is going through the pain. She is the one. So I will advise, investigation is as powerful as prayer. Investigation. Investigating people is more like praying to God. Yeah. Even in the Bible, before God enters the city, he sends spies to go and check. Why is God doing that? He says send men to go and check. Because it's knowledge that gives you how to go about it. So, if you want to get the best of peace in marriage, before getting married, investigate the people. Ask questions about their past. Then confront them about it. If you are not satisfied, destroy the relationship. Pain in marriage is what we call endurance. Pain before marriage is what I call is enough. Simple. I can't cope with you smoking in this place. I cannot. I'm true. I can't cope with you humanizing here. I'm not yet your wife or your husband. I can't cope, please. I end here. I can't be doing this with you for 50 years. How? One day you smoke and die. You leave me here with 5 kids. No. Now that you're just 25. You're like this. You are damn drunk. You are living your life uselessly. So I tell myself the truth. I can't cope with a young man whose lifestyle I can't attest to it. And I can't cope with a young girl's life who is excessively living a life that you cannot pick how she's living it. You can't cope with that. So you decide early to say no. Than going through pain and living by endurance all your life. And then you come to me as a man who believes in marriage. I say, keep trying. Both of you should come, let me talk to you. You keep getting better and better. But you would have handled that when you brought him to me earlier. Of course, if it's me you came to, I will tell you straight. He can't marry you. Before your face. Go your way. I scattered now. If you say no, I leave you alone. Peace is not a prayer, it's a program. You may not know how far that is with your life. It's a program. You see your life for 50 years and you plan it now peacefully and quietly.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, this is another question. He said, please, sir, how do I handle the lifestyle of my husband from spending money recklessly, especially spending it on drugs and things that doesn't matter? My husband can spend 40 million naira without knowing what he spent it on. And when I try to advise him, he ends up creating crisis in my marriage. How do I handle this?
You see, one of the wisdom of David that I believe that people have not been able to study is his ability to make wealth and use it for God. That was the only man in the Bible who understood how God transgeneratively blessed people. The moment the wealth came, he preserved it by building a house for God. That woman should make the husband start building things that are visible around the family. Now that she cannot account for 40 million, then bring a project that is not self-centered, that favors her, no, that will favor the entire family. And says, I saw a business, I saw a land here, we can buy that land. We can build a bungalow there for ourselves. If they've built, we can build again. we can keep building and put it on rent. You see, you are diverting the man's interest from losses to something very important. But if the woman's interest is to receive the money and use it for herself, then the man will waste it more. I'm using the David scenario to show you why God
Everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Gospel Manager. Trust you had a very wonderful weekend. Today is very special because it marks the end of the first half of the year and ushers us into the beginning of the last half of the year. Tomorrow is July and we're very excited for how God has kept us, especially us as a family now in the Honor World International and the Gospel Manager. Don't forget, please, this week is our week of quality organized praise with scriptural reference to Psalms 149 and verse 2. It is our earnest prayer that as you praise God, He will raise you in every area of your life, including your finances, relationship, ministry, career, and even business. Now, don't forget to share the link now to your friends, your families, to that friend who told you about a difficult situation he or she was going through. Let them know they could send in their questions now to God's servant because he's in the studio live with us this morning. And if you are watching us from the Honor TV, please remember that you could send in your questions at our email at thegospelmanager@gmail.com or via Telegram or WhatsApp text at +234 9047533019. My team and I will collate your questions as well as the ones we have received already at the course of the week and share them in this episode. This episode is going to be very interesting, and we want to say please do your best to don't get distracted and make sure you please send us your testimonials on how the answers delivered or the counsel given here by God's servant have been of immense blessing to your life, business, family, relationship, and ministry. Now, leave the floor now for God's servant to set the course for this episode and give us his heartbeat for us this morning. Good morning, Dad, and welcome.
Good morning. How are you today? I want to try to bring forth a model on how to live life simple. Life should be lived very simple. We have made life so difficult for ourselves to a level where anything achievable, people have to die for it. And I just feel is the reason why things are going wrong with people's life. So one of the first things you should learn how to do is to listen. Capacity to listen will give you access to a lot of things. People don't really listen. People just want to talk. And we need to start listening. And that is so important. And number two is if we listen enough, we are going to reason properly. When a man listens enough, he will reason accordingly. And number three, when you reason right, you communicate properly. And when I listen, I reason, then I communicate right. And number four, I will now connect correctly. So these four factors will make us have, or forces will make us live life simple. You listen, you reason, you communicate, and then you connect. And this is what we are lacking today in our community. And I pray that we start building our minds towards these four channels of peace.
What a way to start how to make your life simple and also easy. Listen, reason, communicate, and this is very, very important. Now we're going to start off this episode with a couple of questions that we have received over the week and at the course of the weekend. Many from some pastors, some in people with people in relationships, and one who is having a very seemingly difficult time in his career and is asking for direction for navigation. We're going to be treating that, and please don't forget you could send in your questions at the comment section of whatever platform you're watching, except for those watching via the Honor TV and YouTube. On YouTube, you can also send your questions via the comment section. We will get them at the course of this episode. Now, the very first question, we're going to start with relationships. before we move into career and also ministry. Now, the first one says, "Good morning, Bishop. I think I am now an addicted lover of your page because what I see is very inspiring. But sir, please, I'm having a major challenge in my relationship. Sir, please, what will be your counsel to people who are in love but face strong family and societal opposition?"
We should try to know the reasons why we get involved with things. I have always said that a lot of people don't know why they're involved with people. We just get involved because life circumstance has just brought us together. So when you are in that kind of scenario, pressure can take the best part of you. So why am I involved with someone? That has to be studied. Is it something I should fight for? If I decide today to go against my family, to go against people I love, is it something I should fight for? Because if it is not something for you to fight for, don't accept that kind of relationship that will make you go against everybody that has once stood by your life. As a matter of fact, there are some persons you should be pleading to accept that relationship, who are genuinely telling you reasons why you should not be there. But there are some who will do it out of self-interest, which to me I don't buy it. But if it is God's will and character issues that somebody has identified and tells you, you get out of there now that it's early for you, you should listen. But if it's from one's self-perspective of, I don't like the village, the city where the person comes from, doesn't make any sense. I don't like the family name, doesn't make any sense. Those things don't make sense. But there must be a directed reasons why you should look into a relationship and say, this cannot be. But outside that, there is now has to be personal. If I decide to go away from these people, I hope this will not be a loss because of this person. So, do you have that awareness to know that the person you're trying to fight for is worth it? That's the most important question, number one. Was the person worth that fight? If the person worth the fight, why not? After reviewing everything, why not? But if the person does not want the fight, there's no need for that. Better stay and have your peace and live your life than going into a circle where you have a problem, you don't know who to call because the person begins to use that against you at one time. So I've always told people that learn to have somebody in your life who your partner will respect for the sake of your own sanity is very important. So let's be careful how this is in two forms now I'm trying to treat. Why are they not supposed to be together? The reasons must be stated. If it is city issues like where they are from, it's not necessary. Family name, not important. But if it's an issue of God's direction and character reasons, they shouldn't be together. Because these are the two things that makes anything work. And if you don't have God's will, you don't have character, there's no need staying there. And also your faith in God. So these three things, if the person has it, the person does not have it, then you have to be out of that life. And then if you do all of this and somebody is saying that you must leave, so the question you should be asking, if I now go against all these people, is it worth it to stand for this person? Tomorrow, if I have a crisis with this particular person, and I have nobody to go to, will he understand, forgive me, and don't let me live a life as if I have nobody to talk to? You must consider all of that, because I have said here, anything you see that's a home crisis began when they were dating themselves. but it was in a smaller scale, so he wasn't taken serious. So this, I believe, will help anybody who's listening.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, so the second question says, sir, please, this question had been on my mind for a very long time, and I thank God for the opportunity to share it with you. My name is Matthew, and I'm streaming from Lagos State. Sir, please, can a believer date someone who is not spiritually there yet, but seems genuinely willing to grow?
I have seen people metamorphose from conversations to a different activeness of life, because the deception of statements is that they prepare you. And people look at people at the guise of what they say. And I don't see things like that. I see things from the guise of the things you do, your actions. Stop listening to people's language. Their body language is more important than their words. So, and you must study that yourself. So, if you study that, then because of our beliefs as Christians, we believe that maturity in the spirit is an integral ticket for kingdom marriage. That's what we believe. But we have noticed from the past 5 years that those who marry in church have more crisis than those who are not in church. Those who relate themselves in church have more crisis. So the problem is this: the matureness of a man's mind, whether spiritual or not spiritual. If you're not mature enough, it affects your capacity to relate. You know, I feel we have to teach this to people. And because a lot of people don't have it. You see, capacity to relate and translate what you say and how you say it is a sign of your maturity in seeing things. And when you don't see things maturely, all you'll be doing is to try to prove or to defend. And a lot of people take that to their relationship. They try to prove and defend. And when you do that, you don't know what is in my mind or what is in the person's mind. And that is why you say a very healthy Christian got married and divorced. Spiritual, tongue speaking, God serving, Bible reading. But why are you divorcing? Because the maturity of the person to translate those things that are supposed to be godly and make it potent is not there. So we should be looking at the maturity of people first. How mature are you in your reasoning, in your translations of thoughts, in your approach to accept I am wrong? Because to me, that's the more important thing about life. How do you accept that you are wrong? When you see somebody who accepts I made a mistake here and easily apologize, that is kind of a person to marry, whether male or female. Somebody you are with can never apologize, rather looks for means to justify himself, but it's very Christianly, godly. That relationship will end in crisis. It will definitely end in crisis. But somebody who can easily just own up to an offense and say, yes, I've thought about it, maybe I didn't understand your point of view, now I understand your point of view, so I came to say sorry. I will do better next time. You see, I've always said, strive is a process of somebody who lacks understanding. You see, anytime there is a human crisis, it's somebody who has low mental crisis, low mental reasoning. Because you are not supposed to have crisis with anybody. Set your opinion over a situation is either received or not received. And it shouldn't bring offenses. But today, opinions not received in relationships is creating offenses. And ugly words are being used. So you need to mature yourself. because of the uncertain actions of men. That relationship will bring certain actions one day. But if you are mature enough, you can translate it. It is your translation that matters, not what the person said. How you translate what you hear, how you act when people behave, particularly in your relationship. How you translate what you hear and what you see is what gives you that capacity to stay in a relationship. It's not the person. If you don't have that maturity, you keep relationships in 1 year. You have kept 10 people in your life. So we need to satisfy ourselves inner and learn to mature our person to enable us to translate what we hear and see, and that will give you the best of relationship. But remember, it's not the person you date that brings peace in a relationship. It's how mature you are that gives you peace in that relationship. It's not the person. The person has no problem. It is you. First, identify by loving somebody. If you found that and it's God's will, the other part of keeping that person is how mature you are. It has nothing to do with God or Satan or anybody. How mature you are is what will keep the person in your life. If you have crisis in your office, you are the problem. Nobody is the problem. Your maturity will teach you what to do and what not to do, and avoid crisis entirely, and you will avoid it anywhere in the world. So that will help.
Okay, so we have this question from Julia and Juliana. I guess they should be twins or so. But they are saying, sir, please, God's servant, however, has answered this question, but I want to give perspective to this. Say, what should I be looking at in someone I want to get as a spouse? Now, to give perspective to this, even though God's servant has spoken about maturity, I would like to say that how can young folks prepare for marriage? Because what I've observed is that over time, with the conversations that we have with our friends and our peer groups, with the kind of things we watch in the media, the kind of blogs we listen to, they have shaped the kind of perspective that singles hold deep. So in preparing for marriage, how do they filter those things and bring a sound mentality and a mindset towards marriage, especially preparing for themselves first, not necessarily in that person, because they have some taste from what they've seen in movies and all that. They have built a kind of fantasy around what marriage should be like or what he or she should be like. So how can they filter those things in preparing for marriage?
Realities are the reality of life should be retaught in our Gen Z generation. We are missing something here. We are forgetting that our parents did not get so much of exposure, where they had teachings, lessons. Test by Moonlight, there was a film then in NT called Test by Moonlight, where they share stories. Those were lessons, and those were very important part of the build-up of our parents. Today we have an exposed media that is selling all kinds of directions to our kids because of the lack definition. You know what I don't want to watch, you can't make me watch it, because I have a strong will. I accept what I want and I don't accept what I don't want, no matter who you are. So if you want to build a perfect life, start by building a perfect character for yourself. That nobody will give to you. Then take a decision where you will go, where you will not go, the kind of people you're going to mingle with, and the kind of things you will say with your mouth. So these are things you do for yourself. And that will come through a process. You keep going into it. And one day, because it's a planning you have for yourself, and you meet the person that will suit that kind of life that you have. And be careful that life does not make mistakes. Anybody you attract is what is inside of you. Anybody you attract is what is inside of you. I can't see myself attracting somebody who has no comportment to sit. It won't work. We have issues. So what you have inside is what will come after you. So be careful when you are dressing with long gown, tying your neck, but at night you're doing something else. When it gets to marriage, it will show that your attraction was those kind of persons. You understand what I'm saying? It will show, because life will bring to you the kind of person you are living secretly that we knew nothing about. So let's be careful what you do and what you prepare for. Prepare for something that will give you peace. Prepare, and your end product should be peace. Nothing more, nothing less. Prepare to end up in peace in marriage. Just make up your mind that my last goal in this life is that I end up marrying and I'm peaceful. And that will now, you have to start with yourself. What kind of manners do I have? How do I behave? Because it has to do with you first. So when you are ready, the person also will come and see you ready. And then you guys live a beautiful life till Jesus comes. So anytime you see crisis, the people were not ready for marriage, but they were aged for it, but not ready for it. They claim to be aged for it. Almost, I'm ready now. I'm 25. I'm 24. I'm 20. I keep laughing at people. You think number gives you maturity? Number gives you age. Maturity is, and that's why you should choose a company that corrects you. You know, people don't choose companies that corrects them. People choose companies that they talk with. They like a best friend. I've never kept a friend in my life. I don't like it. They like best friends. Best friend. The person is not adding anything to your life. Makes you commit crimes, makes you do worse things, can't identify an error in your life. And you are a growing person, male or female, you are growing. And you have nobody guiding your life. Even I'm not talking about a mentor now. Somebody who's even at your level who can talk to you. Or you even go and sit down and listen. So those little things, you talk too much, you are looking proud, you're not dressing decent. This is how a lady should talk, this is how a man should behave. Those little things that somebody has the courage to tell you are the patterned lessons of your life. The way you dress when you are going out and the way you dress when you go to church, they are two different things. Why do you pay attention to yourself when you go out and pay less attention when you come to church? All of those things, the way you look, the way you want to impress people, and somebody is there, you don't do that. Relax. Take life one day at a time. What's the problem? How can you spend 5,000 for food and you don't have the next money to feed the next day? Somebody's telling you those little things that you need to know. You spend too much time on your phone. Reduce the time and read the book. Pray, study, work on yourself. And today people don't like to hear that. Somebody is offended that you're not behaving well. People don't want to see people like that anymore. They run away from people like that. They may even challenge you back. They maybe talk to you back as if you're offending them. So, but the peace of your tomorrow are in those corrections, which you have refused to listen. So I pray that as we build up our lives, we should know that our company today may not be our company tomorrow. And then the privilege we have today will not be privileges tomorrow. Let's be careful how we waste time and blame the devil for it.
Let's be careful how we waste time and blame the devil for it. But one thing I took out from this analogy God's servant gave is that whatever you attract is something you have in your inside. That's to say, when you are picky about who he or she should be, know that attraction will come from who you really are, first of all. So before you develop a spec, make sure you build yourself as a spec first, because that's where the attraction comes from. Now we'll move over to the next question, and this one is centered on career. This is from Alex. Alex says, "Good morning, Bishop. Thank you for your profound teachings, both during the service, live streams, and also on the Gospel Manager platform. So please, my question will be very direct. It says, how can someone rebrand their career path after several failures or wrong turns? Because I really have gone through so many ups and downs, but I think there's something missing and I just want to get clarity.
Knowledge. Read. Improve your knowledge. Knowledge is the key to career growth. Knowledge. Read. Advance. I like reading a lot, so I've read before I came here. So read. When you are lacking somewhere, open a book that talks about it, and that will give you the access of what you deserve. So improve knowledge is what the person is.
Thank you so much, sir. Now this one says, good morning, Bishop. Please, sir, what lessons can we learn from biblical leadership that applies in our leaders today? Because we seem not to have godly people in office, just people who merely are Christians or Muslims. But how can we make them draw lessons from biblical characters of notable leaders like King David, King Solomon at some point, and also Joshua, who were able to lead appropriately?
The problem is not that we don't know the importance of those patriarchs in the Bible and what they present to our communities today. The thing is, our system have raised people who are not conscious of the importance of leadership and who don't want to keep stories that people are going to read. I'm reading about Solomon, I've never met him. I'm reading about David, I've never met David, but these are stories I'm reading. So if we want to build a lasting legacy, let's be conscious of the stories we keep behind. So the stories we keep behind, and if I want to get into power and I'm conscious of what I want to keep behind, that is the first trace of success already. That consciousness that I have to drop something behind for people to talk about is what will lead me to structures, constructions, and what you need to put in place. So if we need to bring those pictures back, we need to start letting people understand that God gives power and God is expecting us to use power effectively. When you know these two things, is enough. God gave you power, so use power effectively. God gave Solomon power and gave David power, and they use it effectively. They raised men, they raised systems. So when God gives you power, use it effectively. Whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a non-believer, you are still a God-given creator. Use power effectively, not negatively. Use it positively, and let there be stories after you are gone on what you left behind through the privilege of power. That is my direction connected to that.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we'll move to some questions. We have about 6 of them has been sent by pastors, but we'll take what we could take for this episode, and the others will start off in the next Gospel Manager episode on Friday. So this one, first of all, says, good morning, Bishop. My name is Pastor Israel, and I am streaming from Asaba, Delta State. Please, sir, I have always wanted to ask you this question, but I feel scared even sometimes when I visit the church. Please, my bishop, what systems can churches, especially churches around Asaba, adopt to raise dependable leaders and not just available workers?
Let's try to understand that. I was showing the church yesterday the Arab world, and I admire them so much, and I showed them that WWE has the wrestling contest in Saudi Arabia. They dress a kind in America to do those battles, but they went to Saudi Arabia and they were all covered up. The lesson is simple. People believe in their culture and they stay there and defend it. So if we don't have strong cultures, that we defend, we can't reach strong leaders. For you to reach strong leaders, there are supposed to be strong cultures, and the culture has to be defended. It is when you defend the culture that it will produce mentality, and mentality produces a man. So if we want to achieve that, then we must do these few things: culture presentation, defending of the culture, strong image selling through the culture, and then man will be made from there. That's how systems are formed. These guys in the Arab world are just prime example on how you can develop systems and build leaders. And generations come and go. We just follow the template of that structure. So it's very simple. It will be difficult when you start it because it's new. But as you believe in it, I've heard people say that, oh no, pet them. Strong systems don't pet people. They lead people with strong decisions. So if you want to bring out the best out of people, then you must lead them with some strong decision making. That is when the best will come out of the system. So if we want to get the best out of these systems, then we'll start building cultures and then putting defenses around it. And don't allow people's will to prevail. The vision should prevail, not people's will. Around here is people's will, not the vision. That's why you don't see systems that are as large as they are supposed to be seen. And I pray that we get to understand that.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, the next one is from a pastor in Benue. He says, "Good morning, Bishop. Please, in systems where attendance drops or momentum slows, what practical and spiritual measures can a pastor take? Because one of the things we now face here in the Middle Belt is a fluctuation of attendance and sometimes a very slow pace in church growth. So what can we do, sir?"
Hearing from God is the most important about them all. I will not tell you what to do. I will only tell you a model I have. Hear from God. And God will now tell you how to go about it. But the general language here is simple. Do your best to know what to teach part time, and people should be cared for. And when you can do these two things, you balance growth in a place.
Thank you, sir. This one is from Evangelist Odinaka. He said, "Good morning, Bishop. I was introduced by a friend to your program in Onitsha. My name is Evangelist Odinaka of Power of God Ministries. Sir, please, how can we discern between a leadership problem and a system failure in church growth stagnation? So how do we know if it's a matter of the leader, that is the pastor, or the system itself? And also, how can this also be translated to the corporate world?"
The leader and the inner circle members are the heart of the church. If it's a church is not working, it's either the pastor is wrong or the people around him are wrong. Because the right man and the wrong team is the wrong system. So if you have a bad leader and you have the right team, that church will progress. Because those team members will translate the error to be positive. And that's why you must have good team members around you as a pastor who translate you down to the members. If those who translate the leader, they are very wrong people, the church is going to have issues, a lot of issues. So that translation power is the problem of church growth. If I make a statement and you translate it to the people and they catch what I'm saying here, then I will have no need coming to the people because you already know what to do. So I won't bypass you to the people because I said it, you understood it, you took it down, and I'm seeing the results of what I told you in the people. That's the growth now. And then the people down take it to the people down now. So it's simple. But if I give you here and then you can't take it down, that system will die. So now I will have to leave you here and go down. That's the problem with church, and you can only see that in the church. You can't see that in a civil organization. The leader does not go down to the people down. He stays here with the people here, and they are the ones who translate it. But in church, 90% of the time, you have to go up, because the people here are not doing anything right. There are even reasons why things are not working. They complain, they give excuses, they want to do their thing instead of doing what they are asked to do. They don't know that it's a vision and it's something that needs to be built. So here is the problem. If you don't have the right team as a pastor, you are going to labor for too long. And that's one of the things pastors are facing today. I pray that that's why Jesus took his time to form his team. He had to stay separately for a few days just to pick the 12 disciples. That was how important that team was for Jesus. As he got the team right, today we are still talking about Jesus Christ. If he came and had a wrong team, that would have been a problem. So let's be careful with our circle, because that's stronger than your prayer life. It's stronger than your word life, because after you pray and receive the word from God, those who translate it, they are the ones that makes the difference. If I tell you and you go and complain to the people, it's a different ball game. So the church will grow faster and become more successful with the kind of team you surround yourself with. And that's the easiest way to grow a ministry.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, this next one says, my father, good morning, sir. I'm very, very happy to be part of this live stream. But, sir, please, I want to ask the question, because you said a good leader with a wrong team will still end in crisis, but a wrong leader with a good team will progress. And it's all about communication, from what I understand from your analogy, having the vision passed down appropriately. But sir, what do you do in a situation where you have tried to pass this informations over and over, and the people still keep making mistakes? What do we do? And two, one of the things I have also observed is that people like to do things at their own time, even when you mount pressure on them. How can we deal with these things? Or is this one of the ways to spot a bad member of a good team?
As I said earlier, it's just the right team. Those are signs that those people are not the right people to work with. When you have the right people to work with, they see your heart. They don't hear your voice. They feel your pain. They don't see your anger. That's the thing about the right team. They feel your heart. They don't hear your voice. They feel your pain. They don't see your anger. So when the people only see your anger and only want to hear your voice, you have a very huge problem as a leader. A true disciple feels the leader's pain. That's a disciple. And sees the man angry over a team, but does not see the anger, but sees the pain that the man is going through that's making him angry. So when you don't have those kind of people around you that will feel that, why is he angry? That's a very bad team. Why is he angry? And that, when I hear people say that, it baffles me. You're asking a leader, why is he angry? Instead of you to take the pressure out of the man or the lady. So when you don't have this understanding, you're going to have a problem. As I said earlier, a bad leader with a healthy team will prosper, because they will take his errors, simplify it, and bring it down. And he will not even know that they are transporting his errors down here and making it good. He won't know. He will only be shocked to see that the thing he said was improved. He spoke a word, somebody caught the word, improved it, and sent it out. And it's the same him. He didn't expect that growth because he has a weakness. So it's all about the right team. If you have the right team around you, you will talk less, walk more. A lot of things are going to play around you. So let's fight to assemble the right team in any work system, and then growth will be easy to come by.
Thank you so much, sir. So this question says, good morning, Bishop. Sir, please, I am very profound about all you have said in this episode. Thank you so much for your thoughtful wisdom. Please, when ministry growth outpaces leadership capacity, how do you bridge the gap?
Very simple. Improve your system by getting people better than you. If you will accept, when you know you are limited, look for people who are more smarter than you to stay around you. That is what a wise man should do, instead of trying to attack people when they are providing better ideas to you. I have a way of behaving. When I don't know a thing, I call somebody to come and do it. I don't fight that, and I will not take the credit for it. I don't do that. I only interfere in people when I notice you're not doing what is right. As long as you are growing something, I don't have a problem with you. I'll give you all the liberty in this life to do it. So the thing is, when you have grown to a level and the people you grew with are not as capacity as you, because the thing has outgrown them, then you either send them for more training or you change them with better people who will do that job. But for the sake of longevity and service, send them to be trained. Do a training program for them so they can improve their capacity and live up to the growth of the work. And create another system in that same system that can be feeding those people with the right information, and everybody will grow. But if you allow them to remain the way they are, they've not improved to suit in that growth, they will kill the growth themselves. And when you allow people kill growth, you regret it. You see me trying to correct all the time, because when growth comes, people should be smart to know that growth has come and grow to it. If not, it will come and go. So I understand that.
Thank you so much, sir. So we take the last question for this episode this morning. This is coming from a very, very passionate mother, and it says, good morning, Bishop. Sir, please, my question would be on parenting. But parenting in the sense that when you have a child who is very slow in learning, how do you build patience and also help the child gain mastery in learning? Because I am currently facing this with my second son. He is very, very slow in learning. As a matter of fact, you have to say something to him while teaching him. You have to say something to him while teaching him more over and over and over again before he is able to grasp. My husband is a very impatient person. So sometimes when I am with him, even though sometimes I feel very angry and very frustrated, my husband will sometimes come, especially when he's in the house, take over the child, beat him and force him to learn. But yet he still makes those mistakes. And then I just plead with him and take the boy to the room and tell him to go and sleep, because there's no point. Sometimes I get so frustrated teaching him all through the night. In the morning when he wakes up, I try to ask him some of those questions. He has simply forgotten all that we went through the previous night. This is a major concern. Some mothers may be able to relate, but it is really, really disturbing. So, sir, please, how can we deal with children who have slow learning capacity?
One is communication. If the words that the young man, the child has received, they lose confidence, then we have to go back to building one, the confidence of the child. And then when we have built that confidence, the communication capacity has to change. And three, if they are not good in teaching, they should employ somebody who can teach. Patiently sit down and teach the child. And four, they should bring pictures. Pictures have a way of making children do better, and keep around that child's room. As the child keeps seeing those pictures, it educates the child's brain. And then today's child is number 5, is the activeness of games. Those games play a very active role in children's brain. So they should let him learn how to play these games like that. It will help the child. Then get him active cartoons to be watching, that you get to pronounce the names himself, the characters. Those things will give the child activeness. So it's very easy to raise a child. It's just a parent who is not smart enough. The child is the easiest thing, because the child is not adapting habit yet. So you can easily raise a child and make the child what you want the child to look like. So to me, the easiest thing to, if I was not the way I am, one of the best things I would have been doing was to stay around my children all the time. Yes, it's the easiest thing to do. I want to be involved in everything they do. So it grows, get to their schools, get to see their classes, get to their homework myself. A lot of things to do. Get to sit with them and ask, because that formation stage is the best time to raise a child. And at that time, when the child is 12, 11, you don't have a grip over the child anymore. That child is not in your league anymore. That child has, in this age, that child has passed you. So the time that we have is between the timing of 1 precisely to 7. Let me just add 10. Outside that, your child is no more your child. The child is the child of the media, the child of people, the child of activities. So that child can do so well if they will go through this trajectory I just painted. Build self-confidence, because if a child loses self-confidence, that's all. That child's confidence level is low, and they need to boost it up and begin the child believe with himself. Then communicate with the child with the strength of good words, and then give the child pictures, and then make sure that they are also talking to the child's teacher in school, so the teacher too does not contribute to the child's failure by saying, look at that one, Olodo. So all of those things. So they must make sure the child is protected by them. So the result of your child is your future. So be careful how you allow people to treat it. If people are caring for the child, I appreciate that. But anything outside that, making the child getting scared, the child is afraid. The child cannot. You don't tell the child should express himself. A child should be allowed to express. It's a child. Because one day you run into crisis and you cannot talk, because you're making the child not to talk. I'm not talking about an adult. A little child should be able to speak about anything to you, because that's the child. Somebody can do something to that child, and because you are always shouting at it, shut up. So when the child is having issues, the child is doing what? Shutting up. So let the school system, you just need to know who's teaching your child and the things they say to the child. Because you can't be building self-confidence at home, and when the child goes to school, they kill it. When they're answering questions in class, he cannot answer because he's timid. Teacher says, I know you cannot answer it. And the child redresses inside the more. And you, the parents, when the child now comes back home, you have more work to do. you've achieved 60%. When he goes to school, it goes down to 10%. He enters the car to go to school. People taking him to school, they are shouting, my friend, you don't know anything for class. You have to told me that. You have to know all of those things, because those kind of actions and attitude will kill the self-confidence of that child. And it will take a very aggressive child to break out of that. But if a child has confidence at home, confidence in the car that takes him out to school, and confidence in school, and confidence in church, that child will succeed anywhere in life and will be academically smart. Because academics is not a gift. It's something you earn by the surroundings you belong in. The people around you can make you very smart. And that takes a lot. Care, control, communication, confidence. I have a little boy. If he asks me a question, if I'm not asked, he will ask again. At first, I was reacting. I now notice that he does not stop. I now sense that that is the stage of inquiry in a child's life. So whenever that child comes to you to talk, listen. I sit with him sometimes, he will be talking to me. Like he came this morning, he was talking to me. He said the match between Bayern Munich and Flamingo, who won? I say it's 4-2. He now asked me why. I said because Bayern Munich won. He said the match between Inter Miami and PSG, who won? I say it's PSG. He said, Messi, how did he feel? I said, it's okay now, his team lost. So just imagine me shouting at that time to him. So you should learn to allow these kids express themselves, and the things you need to correct, you correct it. Because somebody will feed you with their private part one day, they won't be able to say to you because you are blocking that bridge of communication. And the child now cannot go to school and lift up his hands and ask questions, because already at home self-confidence has been battered by the parents or by the elder ones at home. Sometimes it's the elder ones at home, sometimes it's the parents, sometimes it's people around the child. They make the child just lose confidence about him or herself. And we should be careful with that we should not allow our kids to lose confidence of themselves. It's so important that we should let them have that expression. And when they have that, they will excel in school.
Children are the arrows in the quiver of an archer, and they are very, very important to family, to society, and to the future of every generation and nation. So sad that we have to call it a close today at the Gospel Manager episode. Thank you for those who are still sending in their questions. We promise that we'll start off with them, as well as those who would also share their questions at the comment section whilst you watch offline, or send via the email. The email again is thegospelmanager@gmail.com, and the phone number to text via WhatsApp and Telegram is +234 90 47533019. Keep sending in the questions. We will collate them and share them in subsequent episodes. And what we want to ensure is that God's servant is able to reach out to those questions and give you God's wisdom and counsel on how to deal with them. Thank you so much for everyone who streamed today's stream, and to everyone also who sent in their questions. Now, I want to invite you very specially for a very special program to start off not just the month of July, but the second half of the year, July, August, September, down to December. It is the Executives. It's a prayer, prophecy, and healing program put together by God's servant Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe. If you were part of the Night of Peace, then you could tell what the Executives would be for you and for your family as you prepare for July and also the next half of the year. The time for each of those days is Tuesday 4:30 p.m. to Thursday 4:30 p.m. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays is 4:30 p.m. Don't forget, you're going to come on a fast as we prepare ourselves prayerfully for the month and the months ahead. Don't forget, it's 4:30 p.m. You could stream also from the platform you're watching this live stream, and also on the Honor TV. We would be live and God's servant is ready. Let's open our hearts to receive God's word in due season and also engage ourselves in the altar of prayer. Also, I'd like to invite, especially for our Sunday service, it's going to be an amazing time on Sunday. It's 3 power-packed services. The first service starts at 6:30 a.m., the second service at 8:30 a.m., and the third service at 10:30 a.m. It's going to be an amazing time. And don't forget, if you're in a relationship, you're preparing for marriage, or you are married and you're having difficulties in parenting or handling the issues between yourself and your spouse, then be part of the first and the second service. The first service is the Jesus Dream for Youths and Singles. God 7 is teaching us on the David and also Joseph's principles for living, for youths and for singles. And then in the second service is the Abigail and Esther's principle for marriage and parenting. It's going to be very amazing in God's servant as we learn how to handle our homes, how to deal with our relationships whilst we prepare for marriage, and what we should do whilst we're in courtship or whilst we're dating, the biblical way and the God's way. So please, it's a personal invitation from myself and the team to you. We can't wait to have you in the city. And if you are in Asaba, you haven't been under the administration of Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe, then you are missing a lot. We know there are amazing pastors in the city of Asaba, but this one is phenomenal. He is not just a pastor, he's a father, he's a mentor, he's a coach, and a guide. One that once you are with him, you are sure that things will go right because he's honest about his conversations with you and his teachings with you. So please come at Rehoboth City Honor World International. And to see him privately, then you could come on Wednesdays from the hours of 11 to 4, and also on Thursdays after our service he's gonna have some time with you, and on Sundays also he will take some time to speak with you and share with you God's word and God's thoughts concerning whatever it is that you come to see him about. Our doors are always open. He's a very loving father. No matter who you are, where you're from, or the color of your skin, he is a father and a secret. He wants to be your pastor. So please make your way here to be part of his ministry and his life. I'm going to leave the floor now for this amazing pastor to give us the concluding remarks and bless us for the week.
You know, I am a happy person because of the age gap that I see the people I have now that I'm trying to build. And I just try to see my life in the next 10 years and what becomes of all of them. So I am excited about the future and what God has for me and the work. I want to instill on everybody who's hearing me today that let's try to build and stay with a mentality of trying to build, because a future that will work will have to go through the process of building. And let's not be in a hurry to succeed, because success actually takes time. And because success will always come from those who have built. And when you have not built and you jump into things, you will be unsuccessful. I'm excited. I see these young lads around me and I see the future around them. And there's a lot to be done in their lives. I'm still furnishing, fortifying, forming, a lot of things I'm trying to do through teachings, through guide, through a lot of ways. But in the next 5 to 10 years, the proper picture of the property I want to see play itself will come and the whole world will get to see it. And so I want to encourage those who are trying to build. Stop looking for people older than you to build with. Because in the next 10 years, somebody who is 60 will be 70. Somebody who is 50 will be 60. Look for young minds from their age of 19, 17, 16, upwards. and teach them what they have to know. And take them away from the distractions of today's world and put them in a structure and show them a path to follow. And as you keep hitting that path, they will be proud they obeyed you tomorrow. For those who have sense and end up very successful, even better than you, because if I have been taught earlier, I'm better than what I am today. So anybody who is privileged to know me as a teacher should be preparing to be better than me, because the things I know at their age, I didn't know it. So I'm teaching my age to a young girl of 16 today. So that means when that lady or boy gets to my age, that person should have known better than me. So the advantage is there. If they are willing to use it and apply it to their lives and get better with themselves, and don't get carried away by the nonsense I see around town today. And tomorrow, I'll be happy to see them very successful and come to tell me what my effort did to their lives. And that's how I want everyone to start their week. Remember, if you are being taught, if a man is teaching you at my age, that means, and you are 21, I'm bringing my age to 21. So you are better than me in the next few days to come, if you want to learn. So take this knowledge and trade your week and be the best version of your kind. Don't give up. Don't stay complaining. Stay active and useful. Your best days are ahead of you. God bless you.
Like God's servant rightly said, that success takes time. But when you are consistently doing the right thing and you are under guide, success will become right on time. So wherever you are, the north, the south, the east, the west, no matter the continent you are viewing us from, myself and our team like to tell you that life is beautiful and you can handle it. See you on Friday at 7 a.m. when Gospel Manager returns. Have a beautiful week and a new month ahead. God bless you.
Praise is an ordained weapon from God to command triumph in the life of the believer. Praise is the believer's transition weapon for total change. You can never change without the praise weapon. The praise weapon is the changer's weapon. Praise is heavily trusted. It's a trusted Bible weapon. It has been tried by David. He will tell you clearly that he tried it and it worked. Clear your plate from crisis. Think nothing pain. Think nothing trouble. Just praise Him. Church is a place of the making of stars. Stars are made in the church. Don't be a sitting believer. Be a walking believer in church. So your star will come alive. The church is the making ground. The wise men said, we have seen the star. We have seen the star. We have seen the star. We have seen. Pursue your stardom in the church. Pursue your star glory in the church. Every time you come to God, it resharpens your star. If you don't train, you cannot shine. It is training that makes you a star, not availability. When you look at people's story, check their yesterday. The church is the making ground of stars.